Hi friends, this video has to do with fractions and just reviewing some of the big concepts, the big skills that we've been learning in the classroom. So you can watch this at any time. The first thing that we learned about fractions is to name them. How do we name a fraction? So we know that fractions usually have a number at the top and the bottom. We identify that this is a numerator. This is a denominator. Numerator usually is we count how many, right? We're thinking about those parts. Okay, and denominator is the total parts in the whole. And that whole can be something like a pizza pie, it can be a chocolate bar, it can even be a collection, such as a group of students, right? So that is something that we have been practicing in the classroom. The difference between taking something like a pizza pie or a chocolate bar and dividing it into fractions, as opposed to looking at a set. And we're going to do that in a moment, okay? So the numerator and denominator. If I have a bar model like this, and I'm focusing on this one part right over here. First of all, I need to know in this one whole, there are 3 total parts. That's my denominator. 3 total parts in this one whole, okay? Focusing on this one part, that would be my numerator. So it's 1 out of 3, okay? And so this fraction is known as 1/3. That's really important to know how to name a fraction and what the different parts are. So that's part one. That's something that we learn in the classroom. And we've been practicing that using strips, by folding them, by labeling them, by making sure that they are equal parts. It's a little hard to do when we're drawing them because it's not as accurate. And that's something else that we also talked about to make sure that it's really accurate. And one way we can do that, I think somebody said, is by using a ruler, which we did not do. But folding is one way kind of to see how accurate it is by folding it exactly, getting those creases, making sure that those parts sit on top of each other. So naming fractions is one part. The other part of fractions that we were talking about is looking at something like a chocolate bar. If we have a chocolate bar and we want to eat 2/4 of it, what does that look like in this case? We have fourths. This fraction um, is called fourths because it's divided into 4 parts. If I wanted to eat 2/4, it would look like that. And this is how we would write it. 2 is the total number of parts that we are counting, how many, and 4 is a total number in the whole, Okay, so 2/4. If we were trying to figure out 2/4 of 12, and it could be 12 crayons or 12 people, that looks a little different, right? In this case, the first thing that we would do is take 12 and put it into 4 equal groups. That's like saying 12 divided by 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. And then we have to multiply it by the numerator. So we take 3 times 2, and that gives us 6. So we can say 2/4 of 12 equals 6. If you want to see this in a picture, this is what it would look like in a bar model. There's 12 even equal parts. And if we have 2/4, first of all, I need to know how to divide this into fourths. And I know that 12 divided by 4 is 3. So that would mean that I would need to make 4 equal groups with 3 in each. 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So if it's 2/4, I'm really just looking at 2/4, 1/4 and 2/4. And if I count them, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is how I get 6 to be 2/4 of 12. So those are just some things that we've been looking at in fractions using um, a whole that looks like this, or a collection or a set like this. Okay. Something else that we've been looking at is number lines, using number lines for fractions. And how does that look? How would you go ahead and use a number line to show 1/4, right? 1/4. 1/4. So if we have a number line, we've always said that it starts with 0. We're going to take this and make this 1. This is 1 whole 1, right? To show 1/4. So I need to know that this is the beginning and the end of the whole. I'm going to make it into 4 equal parts. How do I do that? I approximate right here. That's 2 equal parts. 1, 2. Now I got to divide it into 4 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm ready to label the fractions. So 0, this is 1/4. Now this is another 1/4, so that's 2/4. This is another 1/4, so that's 3/4, and another 1/4, 4/4, or we can call it 1. So if I wanted it to show 1/4, this is 1/4 right over here, and that's how I would label a number line. We've also been looking at equivalent fractions. So if I wanted to show an equivalent fraction to 1/4, I might say, okay, I want to do eighths. How many eighths give me 1/4? You can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts here. So each one is an eighth, and I'm going to go ahead and label this. And we also looked at how we can go ahead and find equivalent fractions using number lines, right? So over here, if I was to go down, I can see that 2/8 is the same thing as 2/4. So I can write that here. I can say 2/8 equals 1/4. A little bit of a pattern here that we've noticed also is that equivalent fractions have a little bit of a, like a little trick, right? A little strategy here. To find equivalent fractions of 1/4, here, if we look over here, we took 4 and multiplied it by 2. So whatever you do to the numerator or the denominator, you have to do to the top. So you have to do the same strategy, use the same strategy. If you multiply the numerator by 2, you have to do the same thing to the denominator, and you can see now it's equivalent. So let's use that, do that again, and now this time let's try 3. If you do 1 times 3, it's 3, and 4 times 3 is 12. 3/12 is another equivalent fraction to 1/4. Again, the trick is whatever number you multiply to the top, the numerator, you multiply to the denominator. And that is one trick of finding equivalent fractions. You also have a chart to compare the different fraction parts, which you'll be allowed to use on the test next week. So I hope this video has helped. It's just a little snapshot of everything that we've learned in the class so far in using calculations for fractions. Okay, watch this video anytime, and thank you for working so hard. Okay, bye-bye.